So I'm going to go ahead and get started and even make coffee today. All right, so I wanted to, this next verse, this is Hebrews chapter 11 now. This is the very first verse that I ever memorized as a Christian. And it came at exactly the right moment in time and became a verse of conviction for me. And also a verse of encouragement and ongoing participation in my spiritual development. So I want to read Hebrews. I'll just recite for you. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Yeah, I still know it after all those years. It happened when I went into the dorm room of my hall monitor named Nick Paraskevas, and God silenced my mouth, and this is what the young men in the room were reciting together out loud. There were only three of them, but they said it out loud together. And I was impressed that they were memorizing like this. And it was the beginning of my memorization of scriptures. So this is Hebrews chapter 11 and the first verse. I ended up memorizing the whole chapter, but it's an awesome chapter. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is the assurance of things we hope for and the conviction of things we cannot see." The ancients, by faith, were commended. And so it is our faith in things that we cannot see. Had a great talk with my grandson Ezekiel last week about this very idea, and how if we allow ourselves to rest our faith upon the things that we see, how dangerous it is, because we will inevitably see things that seem to conflict with what we believe is the nature of God, and so we have to rest our faith on things that cannot be seen, and that's really what trust is all about. Is we trust God. We cannot see all of God's plan all the time in our lives, but we trust Him for it. And we trust Him for today and for tomorrow. And that was a very, very important beginning to my faith journey. Even though I was in church as a young man with my family, my mom and dad are Christians, I have brothers and sisters who are Christians. My journey didn't begin until I was second year in college. And this was the real beginning of that. And one of the things that I recognize now is that all of the things that happened and all of the thinking up to that point in time were all necessary for me. And that's called the prevenient grace of God, God working in my life before I became aware that it was God working in my life. And so God's always at work in our lives. And what we do is what the writer to the Hebrews says is we have faith and we believe that God is at work, and that He's a good God, and He's got a plan, and we're going to just do our very best to settle into that plan and be at peace with our lives. It's going to be a beautiful day today. If I feel a little better, I'm going to go for a walk. I hope you get outside and go for a walk as well. And I hope and I pray that you have a glorious day in the Lord. Let's hear this again. You ready? Faith is the assurance of things, the conviction of things not seen. And the next verse, by faith we understand that the world was made by the hands of God. Wow. Isn't that, this is going to be a great chapter. I call it my Old Testament chronology. If I ever want to know who came first, second, and third, I go to Hebrews 11 and it just lists everybody out. And all men and women of faith who are commended because they trusted in God no matter what was going on in their world. And that's how God wants us to be. Trust in Him no matter what's going on. God will be faithful unto you. So you have a great week, and I hope that this helps you as you start your